in leading into what I usually talk about. But I think there are 5 or 7 things that I want to clarify as a corporate. My slides are very less, and I'll tell you where I'm going with them. But, you know, my favorite quote is from US Secretary of State John Bowlby in the 60s, who said, if you live in the times of change, you'd better be its architect, or else you'll be its victims. So I think that, for me, in my mind, was a defining thing when I got a call from Suhail Saab only yesterday, saying that, would you like to come and say a few words here? So I'm not as well prepared as all the speakers who came before me, but allow me to say a few things. I agree with what was said, that China is not culturally integrated into the world. I think there's a misnomer that China lives in China. If you really go and read Tao and Zen, you find that China is, in their mind, at the center of the world, and they're just repositioning themselves to be that. Do we, Pakistanis, have that kind of a tradition? The answer is no. So I leave that there. 46 billion, the comparison here, I think was very, very misfounded, and I think you will bear me out. We have to look at public finance and FDI. The 46 billion, a lot of it is FDI. I'm working on 3 projects. You can officially check that. I've just completed Saigon, which is Hwaneng, Shandong, Rui. That's $1.3 billion. So I am a service provider there from Pakistan. I'm working on Gawadar, Nawasha pipeline. I'm also now working on Matiari. There are 5 Chinese companies on Matiari, 3 points given to 2, and 2 points given to 3 others, right? Gawadar is China Petroleum Pipeline 0, which is a subsidiary of China National Petroleum Company, which by value, because nobody knows what value is in China, because you are not integrated in the world, is technically the largest capitalized company in the world. We don't even know it exists. Nobody knows the data on this. Just to tell you, they own 15,000 petrol stations, right? They just bought Abu Dhabi Ittihad Towers, you know, simply outright cash purchase. So there's a lot about China which we don't understand, and I don't think we need to. So my other point is, and I'm just clarifying a few things. So MFIs and donors still stay the largest contributor and budget balances to our budget deficit. On all these projects, financial close is not taking place. The Chinese owe me $2.1 million as of today, which they owe me since November last. They haven't paid me. So where is this money? You know, so I can go on and on about this, but I want to talk from the positive because we'll get to civil society. Second, who knows about CPEC? China-Bangladesh Economic Corridor. The same Shandong Hwaneng Shandong Rui who's producing Saigon is also producing one in Assam at the same pace at the same time. So are they being beneficial? Are they being extra friendly to us? No, and I think you said very rightly. We do not even know that they are creating a parallel. You are missing a few lines on your OBOR thing. Huh? There has to be a line to Bangladesh. Second thing, the issue on the OBOR is that China is not doing this for economic reasons. China is doing this for hegemonic reasons. Now, let's be very clear that China is the post-Marshall Plan hegemon. And it's great, you know, because we were friends. You know, वो कहते हैं कि दोस्ती अपने से बेहतर होती है. तो जब पाकिस्तान और चीन ने दोस्ती की तो हम स्कूल में पढ़ते थे. और पाकिस्तान उस वक्त वो प्रोजेक्शन जिन्होंने आज दिखाई, अगर वो देखते जो महबूब अल अरशद थे, तो आपको ये बताते कि पाकिस्तान नंबर 6ठी इकोनॉमी बननी थी 30 साल में. हम 39th पे चले गए हैं उल्टा. ठीक है? Projections need to be taken with a bunch of meter. मैं इसमें बहुत सी examples देता हूँ. कल मैं नस में बोल रहा था. So I can also tell you कि all these projections, and that's why everyone says they have very difficult algorithms behind them, because technically they are, you know, they are this. So I have worked for 18 years in an institution, and I'm so happy that I finally come out. तो आज मुझे समझ आई कि मैंने क्यों World Bank छोड़ा. सब मुझसे पूछते रहते हैं. So I think one of the reasons is to be able to stand at a forum like this and answer questions to all of you. So I think with that, let me also say that in terms of civil society response to CPEC, and why do I speak about this? I have been working with the Coordination Fund since 1998. In fact, when Kamal Hayat Saab operated the fund from a briefcase, मैं उस वक्त से World Bank की side से funding में involved था. So I know a little bit about civil society in Pakistan and how things have developed, etc. So I was given this topic, and if I can just move the slides. So basically, I thought that हम सिविल सोसाइटी की बात करते हैं तो मैं क्लैरिफाई कर दूं कि ये सिर्फ हम यहाँ जो लोग बैठे होंगे इसमें मेरे जैसे लोग नहीं हैं, बिजनेस एसोसिएशन, ट्रेड यूनियंस, फेथ बेस्ड एसोसिएशन, तो बहुत सी रिप्रेजेंटेशन मैं यहाँ देख नहीं रहा हूँ, ठीक है। So let's be very clear कि जब मैं जो बात करूँगा अभी कि हम कितने तैयार हैं और कितने नहीं हैं, so I want to make sure we cover all of those. So इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ ये कि हम किस चीज़ के इम्पैक्ट की बात कर रहे हैं, और चूंकि अगेन आपने मेरा काम आसान कर दिया because you just told them exactly what is it that we are being affected by. But I think that if you really look at it, it's all about energy and it's all about connectivity, right? And I don't know how many people know you didn't talk about fiber, but fiber already done here. Kashmir connectivity. So the only thing we now need is Moscow, Karachi. So आप लोग समझे कि data flows. So China has been very active in making sure that they increase the size of the pipe for data flow all across the continent, the large Eurasian continent, as well as down towards the Arabian Sea, where all the bigger cables come in. And you know that we are now not living in the age of industry, we are living in the age of ideas. So Iqbal ka aaya tha na ki tafakkur aur us pe zinda, so we are in that age now. So we are today, it's not industrialization that gets us. So I think civil society's engagement, so we've talked about the fact that civil society, what is it? And we've talked a little bit about how, what is the thing? So it's basically connectivity, roads, large infrastructure. So what does that bring to your mind? It brings to your mind a lot of influx of construction workers. It brings to your mind people coming into villages, people coming into Pakistani environment who are not really Pakistani. And let me give you an example. I'm working a lot in the Horn of Africa, sorry, in the Eastern Horns, basically Somalia, South Sudan, and Kenya in the last 1.5 years. And I can tell you, if I go to Kenya, the sentiments about Chinese are negative. If I walk to Somalia, the sentiments of Chinese are negative. I'm very glad he brought up this Djibouti link. So basically, there's a Djibouti Addis Ababa link, which is now taken over by Chinese, and it is going to serve the port of Djibouti, which has been taken over by the white port world. Because as you all know, that when Suez Canal will be doubled, for which the largest contributor has already been made, and it's by United Arab Emirates, and DPW is now fighting to be the operator of the second Suez Canal, all of the world's traffic is going to stop running. So even the largest super post-Panamax and post-Panamax will not go around the Cape of Horn, but they will go through Suez. What does that make? That makes that Horn of Africa one of the world's most crowded waterways. So Chinese that's why the Chinese are there. That's the point. So again, coming back, let's talk about how do we engage. So to me, when I was thinking about this last night, I said language barriers, you mentioned it. Cultural sensitivities. I live in F103, and believe me, there are more Chinese walking around the streets than there are Pakistanis. Maybe we've forgotten walking as a culture, but there are a lot of them. There are religious practices. I see a lot of Uyghur and people from Kashmir, Chinese women coming and taking the hijab, as opposed to some other ones that are walking in skirts. So they both things happen in F103. So the one thinks about these cultures. There are task force skills. We talk about information education. But the reason I mention this is because I need to go to the next slide. So please keep these in mind, and I have a slightly different take on this. But let me first go back to this whole thing about the stages of interaction. So if you look at the stages of interaction, and this is not taken from this, just a stupid graph I made by hand, but basically you look at it, there is construction. So whether it is products, services, or anything, let's say a power plant is built, a road is built, or a Chinese company comes over here and starts making desi ghee, whatever. So there's that stage. So I call that the 0 to 5, the early harvest trade, right? Then you have this whole thing about operation. So the power plant is going to be operated, somebody. So when this happens, then there's the longer term, which is what I call the 10 to 25 years. The power plant chalega, aista wahan pe chini ke export karne chale jayenge aur kuch Pakistani aa jayenge. So let me give you an example. I tried to compare. Kal mere panel pe there was a Telenor strategy officer and myself, and he gave a very interesting example. He said that Telenor, Pakistan, is the single largest exporter of manpower to all Telenor offices around the world. कहता कि मेरा टेलीनॉर का जो दफ्तर का बंदा आता है, वो कहता है तुम पाकिस्तानियों का तो चिप ही और है, यानी कि टेलीनॉर जितने ममालिक में है, वहाँ के जितना एक्सपैट्रिएट स्टाफ यानी जो उस मुल्क का नॉन रेजिडेंट और नॉन टेलीनॉर ओरिजिन स्टाफ, वो सारा पाकिस्तानी है, यानी हम मैक्सिमम लोग.
तो ये स्टोरी थोड़ी सी आपसे मतलब मुख्तलिफ तरफ जाएगी, लेकिन मैं इसमें आपको 4 बेसिक नुकात यहाँ पर। सो टू मी एट द कंस्ट्रक्शन स्टेज ये थोड़ा लेट हो गए। मैं पाकिस्तान के आदम सोलर भाटपुर भी गया हूँ, जहाँ पे के वेल्डर पाकिस्तानी को नौकरी नहीं दी गई। ठीक है, मैं अभी हॉनेंग में वहाँ काम कर रहा हूँ, वहाँ पे सारे पठान वर्कर्स को बाहर निकाल दिया गया, सेइंग किसी सिक्योरिटी रिस्क है, क्योंकि ये सारे जज्बात हैं। लेकिन आप एक्चुअली जाकर स्टोरी देखें तो उनको पेमेंट नहीं की गई, उनकी पेमेंट डिलेड है, उनको बाहर निकाल दिया गया, पुलिस गेव देम प्रोटेक्शन। सो ये वो स्टेज है जो मेरे लिए सबसे खतरनाक है। यहाँ पे मेक और ब्रेक है सिविल सोसाइटी, और यहाँ पे सिविल सोसाइटी को एक वॉच डॉग रोल प्ले करना है कि क्या पाकिस्तानी जॉब्स डिस्प्लेस हो रही हैं, अगर हो रही है क्या वो वाकई जायज़ है। मतलब आप मुझे बताइए, स्टील वर्कर्स इस वक्त दुबई में जो क्रेन ऑपरेटर, चूंकि मेरा लॉजिस्टिक्स का भी बिजनेस है, वहाँ जो हाई स्पीड क्रेन ऑपरेटर बैठा हुआ है जो कंटेनर उठाता है वो पाकिस्तानी है, वो $35 ले रहा है 1 घंटे का इस वक्त। ठीक है, और वही को जब आप पाकिस्तान लाते हैं आपको उसको इतने पैसे देने पड़ते हैं। तो क्या ये कहना कि हमारे पास स्किल्स बिल्कुल ही नहीं है, हमारे पास मशीन ऑपरेटर्स हैं, हमारे पास ऑपरेटर्स हैं, अलबत्ता हमारे पास कैदी नहीं है। And I think you need to think about what I just said. China's speed is the speed that reminds me of the World War II prisoners. And please let this sink in slowly. I'm not against, I'm a very good friend of China, but I need you to understand something. There is something called willing human rights worker. I do not think I see human rights being respected on Chinese work sites. That's a fact, and I think I would encourage civil society to go and look at that. So while we welcome them, I think in this stage, construction, the first and foremost thing we need to walk about is the skills that we have, are they being deployed? ठीक है, मैं इस कंस्ट्रक्शन से मैं आपको एक और एग्जांपल देता हूँ where civil society can play and trade associations can play a very big role. You see, last year, and I'm going to talk from my experience, ताकि झूठ ना बोला जाए, I'm going to give you examples of exactly. Last year I bid for a service, freight forwarding, या आपने देखा होगा जीबी वालों ने कहा ये हमें जरूर करनी है. So we bid for a service when we were actually selected to be a subcontractor to a Chinese main contractor. This year, so let's say it was $100 for the Chinese, they gave us 70. This year the same company came to me and said, no, you cannot give us rates. We now have incorporated a Chinese company that has been sitting here for 1 year. So you will bid to them. And for the same job, they are only going to give me 42 rupees. Because the Chinese company has to make a cut. Okay? Let me give you another example. All contracts negotiated under CPEC are following Chinese law, not Pakistani law. So are you telling me that civil society should be sitting down? The answer is no. Civil society needs to know the truth about what is happening. I went in October to see Mr. Khalid, our ambassador to Beijing. I gave him all these facts. I talked to the trade councillor, I talked to everybody there, and I said, guys, do you know this? Do you know that we are not being paid? Our workers are simply being shunned, that we are given the third tier rates. So the answer is, it's not Chinese government, she is our friend. But remember, this 46 billion is private investment and as market driven as any American out there, as any European out there, in fact, more cutthroat. So I think the role, so again, I think the 5, 10 and long term, so let me take you to the next slide. So I hope you understand that this, we have to think of this, the stages of the CPEC. So I think that, I want to talk a little bit about this diagram because this told me that the second important point I want to take home. We speak English and we speak Urdu. CPEC brings Chinese and a little bit of Urdu. How many years have we worked in English and Urdu? At least as Pakistan, 70 years. Where is our knowledge? या आप सारी किताबें उठा के देख लीजिए किस जुबान में या उर्दू में या अंग्रेजी में. तो आपका सारा नॉलेज बेस, आपका सारा इंटेलेक्चुअल बेस, ये बहुत गहरी चीज होती है एक माशरे के लिए. ठीक है, वो सारा बेस आपका इस वक्त उर्दू और अंग्रेजी में रिजाइड करता है. तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि सारे बन के चाइनीज सीख लें. ठीक है, आई थिंक अगेन आई हैव टू रिमाइंड यू दैट हमने जो गलती अमेरिका के साथ दोस्ती करके की थी, वो गलती अब हम सीपेक से, चाइना से नहीं, सीपेक से दोस्ती करके करने वाले हैं. बिकॉज वी आर गोना लेट आवरसेल्व्स बी चाइल्ड ऑफ अ लेसर गॉड. And I want you to know that we are not children of a lesser God. I would take, आपने intellectual slide दिखाई थी IQ की कल वो sorry आपने नहीं दिखाई. Yesterday Naeem Zamindar of acumen showed we rank way above the Chinese on IQ acumen. आप जरा IQ ratings से देखें दुनिया की जो civilizational ratings हैं. Chinese may be better workers because they are more obedient. Who are more obedient? The people who do not like to rebel. Maybe our problem is we rebel too much. But I am happy that we rebel too much. I like to live in this environment. So I think the point here to note is, how do we build this trust around CPEC? And we do not displace us. Tell the Chinese, please learn English when you come to talk to me, bring your interpreter. Why do I have to pay for my interpreter for Chinese? You are the rich guy. I am the child of a lesser god, so please be nice to me. You know, they are expecting us to have Chinese interpreters. There's a business run by the Chinese through a few Pakistanis. So, I mean, you know, this is becoming quite an interesting part, and I'm really sad that the civil society is not really looking after this. So what do we need to do? That's my last slide. So I see a lot of things happening on IEC material. So I think of it as a two-way street. And let's be very fair. Because the Chinese are here, because CPEC is here, right, we have to respond. So the first thing civil society needs to do is to take on an information education campaign, which is exactly what you said. We must educate our people. Okay, what is it that these guys are going to do? What is it that they are doing? You know, just by going in, Namal is feeling very happy that a lot of people learning Chinese. They aren't going to do diddly all by learning Chinese. Because the other point you also made, are your skills the skills they require here? So let's have a little bit of thought. Learning computers ain't going to give you a job. The Chinese would like you to dig their holes and clean their bathrooms. Let me be very straightforward. They aren't going to put you as their computer operator. They will not. So basically the idea is we need to have this communication, find out where are the skill areas that we mix. And you know, by the way, people are looking at me from GB, मुझे आंखें आ गई और पीछे तक आवाज आ रही है. तो बात यह है कि मेरे ख्याल में GB और बलूचिस्तान वो दो provinces हैं जिनको सबसे ज़्यादा civil society activism की ज़रूरत है on this. I was talking to some people from NATCO, GB से मेरे पास पिछले महीने आए हुए थे. तो उन्होंने कहा हाँ भाई ये हुकूमत बलूचिस्तान में जाकर तकरीर कर देती, किसी ने इनको बताया कि अगर वो जो पाइप जहाँ से शुरू होता है अगर वही लोग बदजन हो गए इसके खिलाफ तो ये तो पाइप टूट टाट जाएगा. So I think that again the point here is so training capacity enhancement, obviously vocational, जिस तरह साहब ने बोला कि हमें workers उनको चाहिए, operators train, vocational training, linkages academia industry, बात बहुत होती है. मैं बीजिंग फोरम पे हूँ, आप भी हैं किसी फोरम पे. मैं तो ये देखता हूँ कि वो चाइनीज वहाँ से आता है, हम उसको कुछ कहते हैं, वो अपनी बात करता है, हम उसकी बात सुनते हैं, वो फिर अपनी बात करता है और हमारी बात सुने बगैर चला जाता है. So I don't know how this is working. We need to set a process. ठीक है? Sir, watchdog. ये प्लीज आप सिविल सोसाइटी और हम भी उसी में, मैंने ट्रेड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ये बात रेस की है. पिछली दफा आर्टिकल दिया था डिप्लोमेटिक इनसाइट में, उन्होंने बाहर फेंक दिया. मेरा एक आर्टिकल है ब्लू चिप में, मैंने पिछले महीने छापा है. इट्स कॉल्ड CPEC एंड स्मार्ट सिटीज एंड SEZs. कि भाई हम चाइना नहीं है, हम गवाते हैं, बड़ी बात है. एंड दैट्स इनफ फॉर अस, बिलीव मी. वो पाकिस्तान को जो चीजें चाहिए उधर चाइना से बहुत मुख्तलिफ है. Advocacy and media arrangement, which means that we, आपने बिल्कुल कहा कि मुझे कुछ ज्यादा डायलॉग नजर नहीं आ रहा. इट्स अ वन साइडेड डायलॉग. CPEC अच्छा है, CPEC अच्छा है, CPEC अच्छा है, CPEC अच्छा है, और फिर KP बेचारा उठ कहता है नहीं हमें जगह नहीं मिली. So that's not really working for us. We need a very informed dialogue, and I think this kind of networks can actually play a very, very healthy role in that. Last, we need to bridge this and reverse this whole. यानी जो पहला मैंने कहा कि हम अपनों को बताएं, I think उतनी एडवोकेसी हमें चाहिए और हुकूमत को हमें पैसे देने चाहिए to go to the Chinese and say कि सारे हमारी बात भी तो सुन लो. This is how we are. This is Pakistani national character. This is what a Pathan is. This is what this is. We are not a unified, forced, unified nation. You know, जो कि एक आपने इस तरह symmetric बना दी. So I think that advocacy also has to work. So on the last one, let me just give you some good news that there is a lot of money available for that. I don't know how many of you know that, but one of the tanks that I work and is my partner is Geopolicity. So we've just hired somebody in DC, and America and China are very interested in a CPEC related US-Pakistan-China dialogue. Because as much as, you know, the Americans are now learning, you know, वो jihad के बारे में समझ रहे हैं कि हम कौन हैं. But now there is, you know, the Americans have one issue. Americans always aggrandize people they conquer. तो अब वो जब वहाँ कहते हैं वो पठान बड़ा ज़बरदस्त, वो ये अमेरिकन में इंडियन चीफ्स के साथ भी ये किया जाता है, मार मूर के फिर कहते हैं वो कितनी ग्रैंड हस्ती थी. So you know it's a bit like all conferences do. So I'm afraid I hope Chinese के साथ हमारा ये relationship खत्म ना हो इसी तरह. And I really want to leave with one quick message, which is that you know all of China is government. और ये बहुत अच्छी तरह समझ जाना चाहिए कि हाँ कोई प्राइवेट सेक्टर नहीं है. Not the private sector in the way we are trained. You know, problem is हमने किताबें ही नहीं पढ़ी चीनी. हमारी सारी ट्रेनिंग, I can bet my bottom dollar 100% this crowd ने जितनी पढ़ाई जिंदगी में की है माँ से बात कुरान के, वो वेस्टर्न OECD कंट्रीज की लिखी हुई किताबें. So please let's remember that there is a huge mismatch. We love China, it's an old friend. Just remember my example. I had friends in second year, in first year, in high school, where you know uniform hoti thi Malaysia. तो पता नहीं चलता था. So now some of them we realize were billionaire sons and they're all now living abroad and have million times more money than I do. अब हमारी उतनी अच्छी दोस्ती नहीं है और हो ही नहीं सकती. So please understand that's how we're going to deal with China. It's a good, strong childhood friend that we can meet at alumni events. But when we deal with them today, we need to be Pakistanis first and know our worth. Thank you very much.